the past, it was a Socalypse then. We kicked some ass for an Socalypse win. Cruising a fly sock whip with an Socalypse grin. Strap in, it's time to dip, let the Socalypse begin. Now.
Welcome. What? It's the wrong music, dude. This is the Senate hearing. We're live. Fix it. Alright, take two. Welcome to our coverage of the United States Senate hearing with union representatives from the airline industry, logistics, the service industry, and many more addressing senators and Congress on improving working conditions and pay for workers and union employees across our great nation. This is also the wrong music. We've been over the cues, man. Are you high again? We agreed no more edibles before the broadcast, dude. Get it together. There you go. Alright, take three. Welcome to our coverage of the United States Senate hearing with union representatives to address corporate greed and discuss how unions are improving the lives of working families. I'm Chairperson TJ Cotton, and I'll be officiating, presiding, and commentating this exciting event today, featuring our favorite pre-senile former presidential hopeful and origin of the burn from when you pee, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Today's broadcast brought to you by the Ultimate Mutilation Championships, with a big event coming up this Saturday featuring wrestler La Madrugada facing off against an angry wood chipper that goes by the name of John Deere. Don't miss it. And Shaft Kings, where you can lose your family's livelihood betting on the fate of random chronically concussed men and women who may or may not be on steroids or a litany of other PEDs to defeat their opposition based on an arbitrary set of data and past outcomes. Get shafted today with Shaft Kings. And last but not least, our last sponsor, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, aka the ATF, where they specialize in supplying all your party needs. ATF, everything you need for a good time. The party starters. And speaking of starting, we are getting in the final preparations here, and we will soon go to the floor for this part 2 of the Senate hearing. We'll start with Mr. O'Brien, who will talk about the recent shutdown of the Everlast battery plant in Wisconsin, which left over 600 migrant workers unemployed. Now, of course, before we get started, as this is a hearing of the U.S. Senate Committee on Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions, we expect these government representatives of the people to conduct themselves with an absolute professionalism expected of U.S. officials in such positions. And in this meeting, we intend to stick to the issue at hand. Open discussion of corporate greed and how it has affected the American workers, specifically those considered union workers. All right, let's start with you, Mr. O'Brien. Now that the plant is not operating, what is the future of the 600-plus jobs from the Everlast battery plant?
Our first combatant entering the senatorial fray is Mr. Sean O'Brien, the head of one of the nation's largest and most influential unions and owner of one of the nation's largest heads. In addition to an affinity for ice cream, Mr. O'Brien enjoys cheese of all kinds and finding new combinations of liquids to create oil and wax to make his bald head shinier with style. His latest concoction is a mix of turtle wax and whale semen, and while proven very effective, Mr. O'Brien is currently under investigation for how he acquired the mammal's rare reproductive fluids. He is a southpaw known for his nasty right hook and his red velvet cake recipe, and he hates clowns, especially when they become U.S. senators.
Those jobs are gone. They're not coming back. And right now you have 600 people that have had long-term careers there who've raised families, put kids through college, and we're depending upon retiring out of there. They're working under a severance agreement, so those jobs are gone.
I see. That's unfortunate. A lot of lost jobs there. So in your honest opinion, how do we fix this administratively to prevent mass layoffs and plant shutdowns in the future?
And I think to sum it up quickly, we need more oversight over these mergers to make sure that, first off, we keep these jobs in America, but more importantly, we've got to mitigate any type of damages or tax on these workers for their ability to join a union as well. I mean, they're going to go to North Carolina, which is right to work, and it's proven that the median average wage in right to work states are far less than the non-right to work states. So we've got to have more oversight on these mergers and acquisitions.
Interesting point, Mr. O'Brien. I'm sure most of us can see the case for better oversight when it comes to corporate mergers and acquisitions. Thank you for that, Mr. O'Brien. Senator Mullen, would you like to speak on this issue? Go ahead. The floor is yours.
In addition to having a first name that is two first names mushed into one, Oklahoma Senator Mark Wayne Mullen is also a former professional MMA fighter and amateur gardener. Known as a hothead, his temper has gotten him into trouble in the past. However, he reassured the people of Oklahoma he has turned over a new leaf from the life of brutality he once led. One of his pride and joys is his extensive toenail collection and necklace made of the ears of his fallen enemies. His favorite pastime is, quote, being struck about the head with large blunt objects, stating that is what made him into such a headstrong leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to get a little factual on what Mr. O'Brien just said about right-to-work states versus forced work states. According to the compensation data report of the U.S. Commerce Department, an average salary for private sector employee in 2019 was $4,000 higher than the average employee in forced union states, stating that right-to-work states pay more. Now, if we also want to break this down to statistics, which was quoted earlier by Mr. O'Brien, about wage differences. If you talk to the Bureau of Labor Statistics in non-union jobs, their average salaries raised 14.6% compared to 11% wage increase on unionized workers from 2020 to 2023. If you go back to the percentage of union workers, because if unions was working so well, then you'd see an increase in union jobs, not a decrease.
Oh, no, he didn't. Shots fired. He said if unions worked, like he was implying they don't. Sick burn, Senator, sick burn. Please continue. You were saying? Statistics?
Increase. 50 years ago, 33% of our labor force was union. Today, it's 10.1%. If you go back and you start looking at wage earned, if you actually compare comparable wages to ages, not a partisan point, but you go to all wages earned, not just comparing 16 and over to 54 to 64-year-old ages.
Wait. Stop. Hold the phone. Are you telling me this shyster O'Brien over here is focused on comparing 16 and older workers to 54 to 64-year-old workers? Those ages are nowhere near each other. What kind of moron would focus on just those age ranges? None of those people matter. Sorry, just such dangerous stupidity gets my sock panties all bunched up. Please, Senator, you were saying?
You'll see that the actual average, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, that if you subtract the union dues, it's actually higher. Non-union employees are getting paid by roughly 1% to 2%, which is exactly what union dues are, is 1% to 2% of their salary.
Oh, snap, for real? You heard that, O'Brien? He said people not in unions make more money than people in unions by the amount of the percentage of union dues they pay. If they didn't pay those fees, they would have the amount of the fee now as more money. Booyakasha, boy! My apologies. Go on, Senator.
So I just wanted to set the record straight on that, and that's coming from statistics, all right? Now, let's talk about Mr. O'Brien himself, his behavior. As everybody knows, and it's here in the last time, him and I kind of had a back and forth. Appreciate your demeanor today. It's quite different.
Back and forth? Well, this seems like quite a heated debate so far. I mean, you're going scorched earth on this clown with those statistics, Playboy. I mean, 1 to 2%? Nice work. What back and forth are you referring to from last time with Mr. O'Brien? Remember, we're keeping to the subject at hand. No personal attacks. This is the U.S. Senate after all. Continue, please, Senator Mullen.
But after you left here, you got pretty excited about the keyboard. In fact, you tweeted at me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Oh, dang, 5 tweets? Was he blowing up your Twitch stream? Sharing ID recipes? What was the tea?
So let me read what the last one said. It said, greedy CEO who pretends like he's self-made. Sir, I wish he was in the truck with me when I was building my plumbing company. Myself and my wife was running the office because I sure remember working pretty hard and long hours.
I got one word. Bars.
Pretends like he's self-made. What a clown. Fraud. Always has been, always will be. Quit the tough guy act in these Senate hearings. You know where to find me. Any place, anytime, cowboy.
Okay, that's a bit abrasive. Let's talk about it. Senator Mullen, how did his words make you feel? Remember to use I feel rather than you did statements. My therapist swears by that technique. Got me off the couch last week. Go ahead.
Sir, this is a time, this is a place. If you want to run your mouth, we can be two consenting adults. We can finish it here.
Okay, that's fine. Perfect.
Yeah, everybody finish it here. Let bygones be bygones. You know, Senator, that's really big of you. You also, Mr. O'Brien. Senator, forgiveness really is for you and not for those asking for it. Looks like it's your emotional maturity that is off the charts. Kudos to you, sir.
You want to do it now?
I'd love to do it right now.
Well, stand your butt up then.
You stand your butt up.
Oh, hold on.
Big guy.
Oh, stop it.
No need for butts and standing. Let's make butts sit. It's what they're made for.
Is that your solution, everybody?
No, sit down. Sit down. You know, you're a United States Senator. Sit down.
Active.
Oh, okay. Sit down, please.
All right.
Can I respond?
Hold it. If we can't, no,
This is
I have
what
the
he
mic.
said.
I'm sorry.
This is
Hold
what
it.
he said.
You'll have your time.
Bernie may be as old as Senator Baldwin. But he has a point. Sit down, Senator Mr. O'Brien. What are you going to do, run the fade on the floors of the Senate building? I'm a talking sock. I don't even have a brain, and I'm not even that dumb. Senator, I'm especially disappointed with you. I mean, you had him on the ropes with all those ill stats. Why do you want to throw it away with some fisticuffs? That's how they win.
Can I respond?
Oh, no, you can't. This is a hearing. And God knows the American people have enough of contempt for Congress. Let's not
I don't
make it
like
worse.
thugs and bullies.
You have,
And that's
you
what-
have
I don't
the
like
mic.
you, because you
Hold
just
it.
described yourself.
Hold it. You have the mic.
Yeah.
You have time.
All right.
Make your statement.
Then let's do this, because I did challenge you, and I accepted your challenge, and you went quiet.
No, I didn't go quiet.
Hold on.
You challenged me to a cage match,
No,
acting like a
sir.
12-year-old schoolyard
Hold it.
bully.
Excuse me.
Hold on.
Hold it.
Listen, guys, this is ridiculous. You are a U.S. Senator. Why are you trying to set up a fight with one of your constituents? And you, Mr. O'Brien, I know you look like a swollen dime store Dana White, but why are you trying to organize a cage match in a Senate hearing? Are you so brain damaged that you see an octagon in here? Cut it out before you send the burn into cardiac arrest.